Don't make these 3 mistakes when praying. My beloved child, prayer is more than just words. It is a precious gift, a door to connect the heart of the Father and with me. It is where your soul finds peace, guidance, and strength, especially in times of need. However, there are times when the true power of prayer can be hindered by simple mistakes. Today, I invite you to reflect on 3 common mistakes when praying and learn how to avoid them. By doing so, you will deepen your relationship with the Father, always with you, never letting you face any difficulty alone. Introduction. My beloved children, prayer is a gift, a way to communicate with the Father and me. But just as with any precious gift, there are ways to misuse it. Today, I will guide you to avoid 3 common mistakes when you pray. Introduction. My beloved children, prayer is a gift, a way to communicate with the Father and me. It is a sacred act that brings you closer to the divine, allowing you to feel His presence and love. But just as with any precious gift, there are ways to misuse it. Today, I will guide you to avoid 3 common mistakes when you pray. Let these words sink deep into your hearts as you prepare to approach the Father in prayer with reverence and understanding. Remember, the Father is always with you, and He will never let you face your struggles alone. 1. The mistake of rushing in prayer. Rushing through prayer. My children, sometimes you hurry through your prayers without taking the time to truly reflect. Prayer is not about speed. It is about connecting with the divine. When you rush, your heart may not be fully present, and the sacredness of the moment is lost. Take the time to pause, reflect, and open your heart before you speak. Be present in the moment. Before you pray, quiet your heart and mind. Prayer is a moment of sacred communion. Prepare yourself to be present with me and the Father. Take a few moments to be still, and then offer your prayer. Quality over quantity. Don't think that the length of your prayer matters. It is the quality of your connection with God that counts. Speak from your heart, not your head. The mistake of self-centeredness, praying only for personal gain. Many of you approach prayer with a focus only on your own desires, but true prayer is not about selfish petitions. Prayer is a conversation with God, where you also seek to align your heart with His will. Pray for others. Remember to pray for others, for the world, for the lost, and the suffering. Prayer should extend beyond your own needs. Ask God to use you to bless others. Pray for God's will. Rather than just asking for your desires, pray that God's will be done in your life. Surrender your plans to Him, trusting that His plans are far greater. The mistake of doubt and unbelief. Doubting God's ability to answer. My children, I know that sometimes you may doubt if your prayers will be answered, but have faith, for nothing is impossible for God. Do not doubt His power or His love for you. Trust in His timing. Trust that God answers in His perfect time. Do not lose hope if things don't happen immediately. He knows what is best for you and will provide at the right moment. Release your fear. When you pray, do not let fear control you. Trust in God's promises and know that He is with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. Conclusion. Prayer is a sacred communication. Prayer is not just about asking. It is about developing a deep relationship with the Father. Approach it with reverence and faith. Live with the power of prayer. When you pray rightly, it transforms you. Allow prayer to be your source of strength, peace, and guidance. I am always with you. Remember, the Father is with you always. and He will never leave you. In prayer, you can draw near to Him, and He will fill you with His love and peace. 1. The mistake of rushing in prayer. Lack of reflection and preparation. Many of you rush into prayer without taking the time to reflect. Prayer is not about the speed, but about the heart's intention. Taking time to be present. Before you pray, pause for a moment to quiet your heart and mind. This allows you to focus on your relationship with God, quality over quantity. Prayer is not about the length of your words, but the sincerity and quality of your heart. Slow down and truly listen. Introduction. My beloved children, today I wish to speak to you about a common mistake that many make in their prayer life. The mistake of rushing. Prayer is a sacred time to connect with the Father and me. It is not about speed, but about the heart's intention. Today, I will guide you to avoid rushing in prayer and instead approach it with reverence and mindfulness. Remember, the Father is always with you, and He will not let you face your challenges alone. Lack of reflection and preparation. Rushing without reflection. Many of you rush into prayer without taking the time to reflect on what is in your heart. Prayer is a moment to engage with God deeply, not just a routine or an obligation. When you rush, you miss the opportunity to truly connect with me. Pause and reflect. Before you pray, take a moment to reflect on your life, your struggles, and your gratitude. This will open your heart to the presence of the Father and prepare you for meaningful communication. Prepare your heart. Just as you prepare for a meal or an important event, prepare your heart for prayer. Open yourself to the divine, inviting the Father's guidance and wisdom into your life. Taking time to be present. Be present in the moment. Prayer is not just about speaking, it is about being present. Before you begin, pause to quiet your heart and mind, letting go of the distractions of the world. Silence your mind. To truly communicate with God, you must first silence your thoughts. Let go of the worries, the busyness, and the noise that fills your mind. This allows you to hear the still, small voice of God. Focus on your relationship with God. In this sacred moment, focus on your relationship with me. Let your words come from a place of deep connection, not just from your mind. 3. Quality over quantity. It's not about length. Prayer is not measured by the number of words you speak. It is about the sincerity and depth of your heart. Do not worry if your prayer is short. Focus on what is in your heart. Speak from the heart. It is not how many words you say, but whether those words reflect your true thoughts and feelings. Speak with honesty and openness. Listen to God. Prayer is not just about speaking. It is also about listening. After you pray, take time to listen for God's response, whether it be through His Word, a feeling in your heart, or through the guidance of the Holy Spirit. Conclusion. My children, I urge you not to rush in your prayers. Take the time to reflect, be present, and focus on the quality of your connection with the Father. Let prayer be a time of deep communion, where your heart is fully engaged. Remember, the Father is always with you, and He will never leave you or let you face your struggles alone. May your prayers be full of love, faith, and sincerity. 2. The mistake of self-centeredness, praying only for personal gain. Prayer should not be a tool solely for your personal desires or needs. It is a conversation with God, not a wish list. Praying with a heart for others. Remember that true prayer also involves interceding for others. Pray for those who are in need, for the lost, and for the world. Aligning with God's will. prayer should not only be about asking for what you want, but about aligning your heart with God's will and purpose. Introduction. My beloved children, prayer is a sacred dialogue, a conversation with the Father and me. It is not a tool for selfish gain or desires. Today, I want to guide you away from the mistake of self-centeredness in prayer. Prayer is about aligning your heart with God's will, interceding for others, and seeking the greater good. Remember, the Father is always with you, and He will never let you face your struggles alone. 1. Praying only for personal gain. Selfish prayers. Many of you treat prayer as a tool to fulfill your personal desires, seeking only what you want. Prayer is not a wish list for your own desires. It is a moment to commune with God, to seek His guidance, and to align with His will. More than a wish list. Understand that God knows your needs before you even ask. Prayer is not about telling God what you want, but about listening to His will and seeking His wisdom. Focus on the greater good. Your prayers should extend beyond your personal desires. Seek God's will, not just what is best for you, but for all. Praying with a heart for others, interceding for others. True prayer goes beyond your personal needs. It includes praying for others. Pray for the lost, for the broken, for those who are suffering. Prayer for the world. Lift up the needs of the world before God. Pray for peace, for healing, for justice, and for the well-being of all people. The power of intercession. When you pray for others, you participate in God's plan for the world. Your prayers can bring healing, transformation, and restoration. 3. Aligning with God's will. Seeking God's will. Prayer is a time to align your heart with God's purpose. It is not about asking for your will, but about asking for His will to be done on earth as it is in heaven. Trusting in God's plan. Know that God's plan for you and for the world is perfect. Sometimes His answers may not align with your expectations, but trust in His wisdom. Not your will, but His. As you pray, remember that it is not about what you want, but about submitting to the Father's will. His plans are always for your good and for the good of others. Conclusion. My beloved children, remember that prayer is not a tool for selfish gain. It is a sacred time to connect with the Father, to intercede for others, and to seek God's will. As you pray, align your heart with God's plan. Pray for those around you and seek His wisdom. And always remember, the Father is with you, guiding you through every prayer. He will never leave you, and you will never face your struggles alone. 3. The mistake of doubt and unbelief. Doubting God's ability to answer. When you pray, do not doubt God's ability to answer. Faith is key in prayer, and without it, your prayers lose their power. Believing in the power of prayer. Know that when you pray with faith, God hears you. The power of prayer is not in the words, but in the faith behind them. Releasing your fears. Let go of any fears or uncertainties. Trust in God's perfect timing and wisdom, for He knows what is best for you. Introduction. My beloved children, prayer is a sacred act that allows you to communicate with the Father and me. But sometimes, doubt and unbelief can cloud your heart and hinder your prayers. Today, I want to guide you through the mistake of doubt and unbelief in prayer, and how to trust fully in God's ability to answer. Know that the Father is always with you, and He will never leave you or allow you to face your struggles alone. 1. Doubting God's ability to answer. Faith is key. When you pray, do not doubt God's ability to answer your prayers. God is all-powerful, and His ability to answer is never in question. The key to prayer is faith, believing that God is capable and willing to respond. Faith unlocks the power of prayer. Without faith, your prayers are like empty words. It is faith that unlocks the power of prayer and allows God to work in your life. Trust God's ability. Trust that God can answer every prayer, no matter how big or small. He is omnipotent, and nothing is impossible for Him. Believing in the power of prayer. The power lies in faith. Prayer is not about the words you speak, but the faith that accompanies them. Know that when you pray with faith, God hears you. God responds to faith. It is your faith that moves the heart of God. Believe that your prayers are heard and that God will answer in His perfect time. Prayer is more than words. Remember that prayer is not a ritual or a chant. It is a conversation with God. When you pray, approach Him with a heart full of trust, not just recite words. Releasing your fears. Let go of fear. Fear and doubt have no place in prayer. When you bring your concerns before God, trust that He has already heard you and is at work on your behalf. Trust God's timing. Understand that God's timing is perfect. What you may feel is a delay is simply God's wisdom at work, ensuring that His answer comes at the right moment. Release the need for control. Let go of the need to control the outcome. Trust that God knows what is best for you, and His answers will always be for your good. Conclusion, my beloved children, never let doubt and unbelief overshadow your prayers. Trust in God's ability to answer, believe in the power of prayer, and release your fears. Know that the Father is always with you, and He will never leave you or forsake you. When you pray with faith, His response will come in His perfect timing, and He will guide you through every challenge. Conclusion. Prayer is a sacred communication. Remember, my beloved children, prayer is a sacred and holy communication between you and God. Approach it with reverence, humility, and faith. Embrace the power of prayer. When you pray with a pure heart and a focused mind, you will experience the power of God's presence. Let prayer be your constant companion. Live with the fruit of prayer. Let your prayers shape you and guide you. Be patient, trust in God, and allow His answers to transform your life. Introduction. My beloved children, prayer is a sacred and holy communication between you and God. It is a privilege and a responsibility. Approach your prayers with reverence, humility, and unwavering faith. Remember that the Father is always by your side, and He will never allow you to face difficulties alone. Prayer is a sacred communication. Reverence and humility. When you pray, approach God with deep reverence. Understand that this is a sacred moment where you are speaking to the Creator of all things. A conversation with God. Prayer is not a monologue. It is a two-way conversation where you speak and God listens. Be open to His voice and guidance. Sacred nature of prayer. Never take prayer for granted. It is a sacred gift that allows you to connect with God, and it should be treated with respect and love. Embrace the power of prayer. Purity of heart. When you pray with a pure heart, free from distractions and sin, you open the door for God to enter and work in your life. Focused mind. A focused mind in prayer helps you concentrate on God's will and direction for your life. Distractions will always be there, but through focused prayer, you can overcome them. God's presence. Embrace the power of God's presence in your prayers. When you pray, you invite God into your life, and His presence will bring peace, strength, and guidance. Live with the fruit of prayer. Transformation through prayer. Prayer is not only about asking for things, but about transformation. As you pray, allow God's answers to shape you into the person He desires you to be. patience and trust in God. Sometimes, the answers to your prayers may not come immediately. Trust in God's perfect timing, knowing that His plan is always best for you. Allow prayer to guide your life. Let prayer be a daily part of your life. Let it guide your decisions, your actions, and your interactions with others. Through prayer, you will find peace, clarity, and purpose. Conclusion. Prayer, my beloved children, is a sacred and powerful act that allows you to connect with God. Approach it with a humble heart, believing that God hears and answers your prayers. Let prayer transform you, and through it, may you find peace, purpose, and strength.